In honor of St. Patrick's Day, St. Patrick is known for getting the snakes out of Ireland. We thought it would be fun to take a small horseshoe nail and make a snake here in the blacksmith shop at Sutter's Fort. First thing we're going to do is work on the head of that nail and start turning it into the head of our snake. Now, we're going to bring this over to the vise, and we're going to work on making a little groove so that it will represent the snake's mouth. We're going to open up our vise, put the head of the snake facing upward. We're going to take a file, and we're just going to make a small portion flat. And then we can take our saw, and we're going to add a groove right on the front. And that's going to end up being our mouth later, but first we have to add some more details, so back into the fire. I'm going to bring this over to the anvil. I'm going to hand these tongs to Jared. He's going to hold it still for me, and I'm going to take a punch and add some eyeballs. So we're going to do the first one on this side. Then we're going to flip the whole thing over. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. Now on both sides we have these little impressions that represent eyeballs, but we can make this look much more like a snake by adding some details down the back. First things first, back into the fire. Now I'm going to get out a protective plate from my anvil. I'm going to lay my snake down here. I'm going to get out one of these letter punches, and I'm going to use my brass hammer as to not damage the punch. I'm going to slowly work my way up the back of the snake, adding these little details in. One more on the head. And now we're starting to see that snake come to light, but the last thing we need to do is take that bend out of it and make it look a little more organic. Back into the heat. Now we're back on the anvil, but I'm just using my pliers and my tongs to add a little bit more of an organic shape into our snake before we cool it off. So I'm going to add a bend here, hold the head, add a bend this way. Scoot it back a little more, add a bend that way. Then I'm going to take my brass hammer again and just get this guy nice and flat. Now we can take it over to our quench tank to cool it off. I'm going to grab it, take my wire brush out, polish it up a little bit. And there we have a small iron snake made out of a horseshoe nail in the blacksmith shop at Sutter's Fort. Yeah, I don't think St. Patrick would have a very hard time getting this guy out of our shop.